Hello everyone, welcome back to My Left Eye. 30p Lee Anderson, the former Labour MP who defected to the Tories, has refused to apologise for racist comments made against Sadiq Khan. Anderson was suspended by the party and has been under fire for claiming that Britain has been taken over by Islamists and that the London Mayor was under the influence of extremists during an embarrassingly informed rant on GB News a few days ago. Here's a quick reminder of what he said, as well as Sadiq Khan's response.
We've got a very cowardly Khan running London. He seems to be letting the not only the Jewish population down, but the whole population of London and Britain as a whole. And I heard the comments earlier you was making about Suella, some of the comments she made earlier this week. And I don't actually believe that these Islamists have got control of our country. But what I do believe is they've got control of Khan, and they've got control of London, and they've got control of Storm as well.
Look, these comments from a senior Conservative are Islamophobic, are anti-Muslim and are racist. We've seen over the last 2 days confirmation that over the last few months there's been an increase in anti-Muslim cases by more than 330%. These comments pour fuel on the fire of anti-Muslim hatred. And I'm afraid the deafening silence from Rishi Sunak and from the cabinet is them condoning this racism, and I'm afraid it confirms to many people across the country that there's a hierarchy when it comes to racism. I think it's really important to call out anti-Semitism, it's really important to call out misogyny, it's really important to call out homophobia, but surely it must also be important to call out anti-Muslim hatred. And I tell you this, my concern is there'll be people across the country, people who are Muslim or look like Muslims, who'll be really concerned about entering into politics because they know if these are the sorts of comments that are said against me by a senior Conservative, what chance do they have?
Sadiq Khan later went on to list instances in which, in his view, this pattern of behaviour could be seen in the government, including Alexander Boris Stafafel Johnson's comment saying Muslim women were wearing burqas, quote, that looked like letterboxes, unquote, in 2018, and former Home Secretary Suella Braverman using, quote, anti-Muslim tropes peddled by the far right. Khan says these remarks show that we are seeing more than a hierarchy of racism. It is, in his view, a deliberate, dangerous political strategy, a strategy to weaponise anti-Muslim prejudice for electoral gain. As I mentioned, Anderson was suspended. However, it's worth noting that this was for refusing to apologise, not because of his original comments. When pressed in an interview earlier today, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said Anderson's comments were, quote, unacceptable, but repeatedly dodged the question as to whether they were Islamophobic. Heaven forfend that he'd admit on television that the Tory party is endemically racist. Let's see.
Well, I've been very clear that what Lee said was wrong, it was unacceptable, and that's why we suspended the whip. And it's important that everybody, but particularly elected politicians, are careful with their words and do not inflame tensions.
But there's a difference between wrong and Islamophobic. Were they Islamophobic?
Well, I think the most important thing is that the words were wrong. They were ill-judged, they were unacceptable, and that's what I believe, and that's why the whip has been suspended. And I think everyone can see that tensions are already running high, and what I want to do, I think what the country wants to see, is the heat taken out of this debate, and I think that's the right thing to do.
So that's the latest on this debacle. Should Anderson be forced to step down over this, and obviously it would trigger a by-election, it's widely expected that he'll be voted out of the next general election if he stands in either case. Even Keith expressed disappointment with 30p Lee's comments, so no chance of him trying to run back to the Labour Party.
This is really basic. Islamophobia is something which should be called out by every political leader. And the Prime Minister isn't calling it out because he's too weak.
So it's looking like in either case, Anderson's going to be a lame duck candidate going into the election later this year. We'll keep you posted on further developments in this story as they're announced. Speaking of announcements, I'm delighted to let our listeners know that we're now part of the YouTube membership programme. If you'd like to get some exclusive perks for just the price of a coffee each month, you'll be very welcome to join us on our members-only live streams during the week, and also use the static emojis that we've got set up for you there to use in the chat as well. Also want to say it's been fantastic to receive so many subscribers recently. You're all very welcome to the channel, and thank you very much for your continued support. Until next time, we'll be seeing you soon on My Left Eye. Take care, everyone.